This research design and method will be tackled tomorrow by another session facilitator, because when I examine the matrix of your week-long professional advancement activity, I noted that there is a separate session regarding the research design, and that also pertains to methodology. So this section must be well written and logically organized. Logically organized because when we talk about methodologies, of course, there is a need for us to name the method that we're going to use, describe the method, and discuss how this method will be employed by the researcher in the completion of the study. Then there are other elements of the research design and methodology, like the participants, the data collection methods, the validation thing is very important, the data collection, and others. As a consequence, the reader will never have a study outcome from which to evaluate whether your methodological choices were the correct ones. Then the objective here is to ensure that the reader is convinced that your overall research design and methods of analysis will correctly address the research problem. I understand that not everybody is very competent as regards the utilization of statistical tools, but it is also my belief that your university provides you assistance regarding this particular concern. Consultation can be done. If you know that we need assistance regarding the statistical treatment of data, if you are using the quantitative approach. So your design and method should be absolutely and unmistakably tied to the specific aims of your study. Describe the overall research design by building upon and drawing examples from your review of the literature. Be specific about methodological approaches you plan to undertake to collect information, about the techniques you will use to analyze it, and about the tests of external validity to which you commit yourself. So validation is very essential thing in conducting research. Anyway, this will be tackled by another session facilitator. So let me proceed to the next. When describing the methods you will use, be sure to cover these issues. Number one, specify the research operations you will undertake and the way you will interpret the results of these operations in relation to research problem. So this will be discussed by another session facilitator. Don't just describe what you intend to achieve from applying the methods you choose, but state how you will spend your time while doing it. Another practical suggestion. Then specify the research operations you will undertake and the way you will interpret the result of these operations in relation to your research problem. Don't just describe what you intend to achieve from applying the methods you choose, but state how you will spend your time while doing it. Parang naulit po ito. Yan. Pasensya na po. Pag minsan po ako nagiging utita. Ang term po sa pagbilaw ay utita. Repetitive. Keep in mind that the methodology is not just a list of research tasks. It is an argument as to why these tasks and add up to the best way to investigate the research problem. This is an important point because the mere listing of tasks to perform does not demonstrate that they add up to the best feasible approach. Be sure to anticipate and acknowledge any potential hindrances or barriers and pitfalls in carrying out your research design and explain how you plan to get around them. The fifth part of a research proposal or project proposal is the preliminary suppositions and implications. The purpose of this section is to argue how and in what ways you believe your research will refine, revise, or extend existing knowledge in the subject area under investigation. And this is very important thing to do because this would serve as your contribution to the body of knowledge and to the community you are intending to help. Depending on the aims and objectives of your study, describe how the anticipated results of your study will impact future scholarly research, theory, practice, forms of interventions, or policy. So these are the possible outputs. It may be that you will be making a new theory or that your research project will contribute to the formulation of policies and other interventions. Note that such discussion may have either substantive or methodological significance. When thinking about the potential implications of your study, ask the following questions. First question, what might the results mean as regards the theoretical framework that frames the study? The second point, what suggestions for subsequent research could arise from the potential outcomes of the study? Third, what will the results mean to practitioners in the real world? And when thinking about the potential implications of your study, ask the following set of questions. Will the results influence programs, methods, and or forms of interventions? Because if not, if the answer is not, then our project is not a good project. Another, how might the results contribute to the solution of social, economic, or other types of problems? Another, will the results influence policy decisions? What will be improved or changed as a result of the proposed results? How will the results of the study be implemented and what innovations will come about? So these are actually the relevance of the research outputs, and they should be tackled in the provision of potential implications of your research to the group of people you intend to help. The sixth part of a research project proposal is the conclusion. The conclusion reiterates the importance of significance of your proposal and provides a brief recap of the entire study. This section should only be 1 or 2 paragraphs long, emphasizing why your research study is unique, why it advances knowledge, and why the research problem is worth investigating. Additional points regarding the conclusion: someone reading this section should come away with an understanding of why the study was done, the specific purpose of the study, and the research question it attempted to answer. The research design and method used, the potential implications emerging from your proposed study of the research problem, and a sense of how your study fits within the broader scholarship about the research problem. Again, a sense of how your study fits within the broader scholarship about the research problem. The seventh part of a research project proposal is the citation. As with any scholarly research paper, you must cite the sources you used in composing your proposal. In a standard research proposal, this section can take 2 forms. Follow the requirements of or standard set by your university or funding agency. And I believe that you had your discussion regarding the citation when you talk about review of related literature and studies. Because when we get ideas from different authorities in the field, we have to recognize these ideas of them. And to do it, we have to indicate the source. And there are 2 ways of doing it. One of which is the parenthetical citation, like author, comma, year of publication, then you may also include the page. So this is greatly dependent on the policy of the university or policy of the institution where you will be submitting your research project proposal. So number 1, references. References is a list, or references list only the literature that you actually used or cited in your proposal. Because there is a distinction between references and bibliography. When we talk about bibliography, we list everything we used or cited in our research project proposal, with additional citations of any key sources relevant to understanding the research problem. In either case, this second section should testify to the fact that you did enough preparatory work to make sure the project will complement and not duplicate the efforts of other researchers. Start a new page and use the heading References or Bibliography at the top of the page. So we call this top heading, or again, it is dependent on the format given by the agency or the university. Cited works should always use a standard format that follows the writing style by the discipline of your course, like the American Psychological Association or APA format or Chicago format.